Hi everyone. When I did my last video, a few of you asked for a garden update in a couple of months. Well, a couple of months have passed, so here we go. We're gonna start out in the front of the house. It was nice and shady a little bit ago, and now the sun came out, which makes it a little harder to show some things. Here's our porch. You can see the purple flowers. I can't remember what they are. But you can see they're doing really well. These planters, I don't know, not so much. The morning glory just isn't loving it, and the sweet pea is non-existent. So I don't know what to do in these planters because I want climbers in these, but they're just not loving it. Anybody have any advice? I'd appreciate it. Lamb's ear. My hydrangea is being very strange this year too. You can see there are a couple of blooms on the front of it. But look at the back of it. All kinds of blooms. What in the world? I have no idea. My hosta's blooming. And the window boxes are doing pretty well. Over on this side, my Weigela is doing okay. Much better than it looked in the last video. Petunias, more hosta. My hellebore is a bit droopy in the middle. The lamb's ear's already had its flower and we've cut them off because they started getting funky and old looking. And then my other flower box and a little bit of coneflower and a little bit of obedient plant. I don't remember, but I don't think I even had this last time. I got a sterile Rose of Sharon, so it shouldn't have an issue with making babies all the time. But it's right at the corner of the front of my property here. And it should hopefully get like, what, 6 to 8 feet tall, I think, I believe. So it's pretty little now, but hopefully it'll like where I planted it, and then it'll be a nice little corner feature at the front of the house. Moving on to the side yard, got plenty of sedum. Here's our wonderful butterfly bush. Let's see if anything's on it right now. Well, I don't see anyone utilizing this right now, but I'm sure later today there are going to be all kinds of butterflies and bees utilizing this. Moving on, we've got my iris and sedum and my hibiscus. I like that word, hibiscus. Just started blooming. Those big, lovely blooms. More sedum. A car driving by. And yeah, our hollyhocks are pretty much done. But I like to keep them up until the seed heads are dried and I can harvest the seeds, even though I haven't had much luck planting them from seed. But yeah, they're pretty much done. But they were pretty when they lasted. Moving on to our backyard, you can see confirmation that indeed that side of the runner bean did not take off this year, but this side did. And I'll have to make sure that I harvest some beans from this because I'm all out. And this is what I always plant on here. So, but I think it looks pretty just on the one side. What do you think? I think it still looks pretty. Walking through. Here's an overview of the backyard. So this is the real showstopper right now, is the Wildflower Garden where I sprinkled all those seeds. Remember how there was like almost nothing there in spring? Yeah, not so much anymore. The stuff that I bought and intentionally planted is kind of tucked in here and there. Like there's a sedum, and there's my yellow rose back there, which I don't think it's too choked out. It seems nice and healthy. But when it gets taller, you know, When it gets older, it'll get taller and you'll be able to see it better past all of these wildflowers. But yeah, look at all of these. Look, how pretty. There's the rose. Raspberries are definitely ready to be harvested. We've been harvesting for about a week now. Tom's been having them in his breakfast, so that's been nice. Black-eyed Susan that I bought is just about ready to bloom. My pink rose has already had a bloom, and it's got a few on here now. I love the ones that are tucked down in there. My coneflower is definitely having a moment. Look at that. And this is my main raspberry patch. So you can see there's plenty of it. There's the lemon balm and some calendula. And this stick right here was the foxglove, but I'm leaving it because I want the seeds to fall. And then tucked back there is my azalea in a pot. You can barely see it past the lemon balm now. But you know, this is the height of summer and everything's all wild and grown over, and that's one of the things I love about it. The shade garden is doing quite well. And the blackberries are just about ready to start being picked. You can see what I was talking about in my last video when I said that next year's vines start growing up so tall that it creates a wall behind here of privacy. There's that squirrel planter with the New Guinea impatiens. Which are doing pretty well. They're not flowering as much, but they're also covered with lots of vines. And my coleus planter is doing fine too. Whoa, that was a light change. So yeah, here's an overall shot of the shade portion of my garden. The tree overhead. And all of the plants very happy. Here is the garage flower bed. I moved Chimera to this side because there's so much flowering on this side, you couldn't even see them back there anymore. This is more of the wildflower mix. You can see my lilies about to bloom. I actually got these from my neighbor. She gave them to me, and I'm not really a fan of them once they bloom, I'm not gonna lie. They're so strong. The smell is so strong. So I don't know, I might give those away to someone eventually. But I love how this flower bed looks. Look how pretty. I especially love this rose mallow. It was part of the wildflower seed mix. I love how they look next to Chimera. And here are my butterfly bushes. They've grown so much already in their first year. Please just ignore the grass. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. We've had so much drought this year. But you can see the bright fuchsia flowers I talked about. They're nice and healthy. And they've grown quite a bit considering it's their first year in the ground. And then finally, to prove that not everything is pretty, we've got my spent Love in a Mist along with some weeds. I'm letting the Love in a Mist dry out so that I can spread the seed heads. This is my Peppermint Hydrangea and my poor rose bush. I swear I did spray this. It's not very bug proof, but it is getting flowers again at the top. You can see them even better from the other side. My snapdragons are not doing great either, and this hydrangea is not doing too great. And that's our new deck. So when I next do a garden video, this will be gone and this will be up. Well, actually, I waited so long to share the video that the deck is done. This was once a pile of wood. Now it's a deck. Their part of it is done. Now we have to wait a couple of months to let the treated wood cure, and then we're gonna paint the rails and the posts and the toppers white, and then the deck boards are going to be stained a darker color, a darker wood tone. So we have our new deck. What do you think? It's definitely a lot sturdier than the old deck. Moving on to some pretty again. Here are my morning glories. They're very happy, and I hope they start blossoming soon. And this planter is normally on the porch. It was on the porch last time, but we moved it down since they're going to be building us our new deck. We've got flowers on the back patio table, and our yellow daylilies are done, but you can see our red ones are blooming. And so is my favorite Egyptian queen. I love those. Aren't they beautiful? Here's a better shot of the roses on the deck. I do not envy the deck builders having to try and build a deck with this. We're gonna unclip them, but I hope this survives because it's awfully close to the deck. We'll see. So yeah, here is an overview of the backyard. Like I said, if you ignore the grass, everything looks pretty nice. I hope you enjoyed that little tour around my garden. Have a magical day.